Thank you, Madam President. I rise to give my no vote explanation to Senate Bill 192. That will be to the Department of Human Services budget passed along party lines today that continues to underfund the department and undercut state services, jeopardizing vulnerable children and low-income working families in the process. The Department of Human Services provides vital programs for our most vulnerable citizens, those who have the greatest need, the people of our state who are struggling both physically and financially. While this year's budget isn't as bad as it has been in the previous years, and I applaud that part to the chairman of the committee, it could have been made better, and I've sought to improve it with several amendments that were defeated along partisan lines. I tried to restore funding for statewide before or after school programs for low-income children to help keep them off the streets and in a safe and constructive environment while their parents are at work. There are direct correlations between these programs and academic success, and without adequate funding for them, we are placing our young people in jeopardy. Due to the federal sequester caused in part by political squabbles in Washington, D.C., DHS is diverting all funding in this year's budget for the clothing allowance that 21,000 children statewide depend on. Today, my colleagues, the Senate Republicans, not only let this misappropriation of funding stand, but they would not even commit to upholding this vital funding for Michigan kids next year. This DHS budget also takes away federal money to help people in emergency situations that are facing utility shutoffs and instead directs that money to a new PET program. No details on this new energy self-sufficiency program have been worked out. The implementation's logistics and cost projections are unclear, and the effectiveness is undetermined. Yet, my colleagues, the Senate Republicans, have deemed it fit to award it $35 million in federal funds that would otherwise be used to help Michigan seniors and low-income residents keep on their heat during the harsh Michigan winters. And finally, perhaps the most egregious piece of this budget are the staffing cuts that are being made to our child welfare workers. I know that many of my Republican colleagues cringe at the very word welfare, but I never thought it would take it this far. These cuts include child protective service workers, frontline supervisors, direct care workers, administrative support workers, permanency planning specialists, and more. The dedicated and compassionate men and women who are working hard every day, every single day, to protect Michigan kids. Our frontline workers are the backbone of the department's efforts to protect our most precious and defenseless citizens. And instead, the government is putting more people on the unemployment line and turning their backs on our kids. Regardless of your political affiliation or ideology, mindset, there are some things that all people in good conscience should be able to agree on. Taking care of our kids, especially those in need, or even worse, in danger, should be unflagging priority for all of us. In eliminating these workers and ignoring our children's needs, this budget is a betrayal of our kids and an insult to our state. Republicans have already raised taxes on Michigan's low-income families, and now they are cutting the essential state services they rely on to survive. Some of us believe that we were sent here to the Capitol to help those who cannot help themselves, to give a voice to the underprivileged and overlooked. I know which one I am, and I proved it with my vote against this budget today. This statement is as much for the people outside of this room as it is for those in it. And with that in mind, I ask that my remarks be printed in today's journal. Madam President, thank you.